Dragonfolk, I feel that a lot of you are getting confused when we're talking about collecting versus investing. Welcome on in, Dragonfolk. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I know I am. Did you like what I did with that little hand thing? You won't find that anywhere else, I promise you. I'm just kidding. That's like the YouTube thing to do. Anywho, welcome on in. I hope you're all having a great day. It's we're still in the midst of January, so it's definitely getting to be a little bit cold, but there's one thing that is that's been plaguing my mind ever since the Magic 30 thing, right? Ever since Magic 30, there's one thing that I keep seeing in everybody's comments, everybody in their videos are talking about it, right? Is the collectability of Magic the Gathering, okay? The collectability of Magic the Gathering is something that is very near and dear to a lot of our hearts who have loved the game since its creation or have maybe even just, started playing and they saw a really cool card with some really cool art and they went, I want some of that. But I think the problem here is there are a lot of collectors who are not doing a lot of collecting from what I can see. So I'm going to kind of break down what I believe these two terms to be, collecting and investing, and kind of go over what the general idea. And maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I've been wrong before several times here on the channel, and I love to learn, so I certainly hope that you all will educate me if need be. But CCG stands for Collectible Card Game. A collectible card game is just that. It is collectible, but in most cases, the true purpose of that collectible card game is to play the game. The game has an actual source of gameplay. You can use these cards to play the game that you are all going to be playing. And so they're all game pieces in a sense, right? Except the difference is that if you're buying this Monopoly piece, in this case, if you're buying this Monopoly piece is going to cost you $57 on the open market. Whereas this other Monopoly piece is going to cost you 50 cents because nobody really liked playing as the car. You know what I mean? This is the concept of what a collectible card game is compared to just a board game, just a regular board game. And the concept of collectability, I feel like, has been lost over these days. And it's almost a shame to see so many people unabashedly talking about how their collection is diminishing in value over time due to the several amount of reprints that occur, as well as, everybody not liking the game right now due to Wizards of the Coast and their own problems. That is what I'm seeing all over the place. And I have to remind people what collecting is versus what investing is. Collecting, I personally believe, you should not have any sort of monetary stress when collecting the cards you want, right? The point of the matter when you are collecting is not to collect and then eventually sell later on in the future because you are confident that your collection will grow in value over time. That is what investing is. Collecting is, I like this card because it has a butterfly on it, and I like all the butterfly cards. I like collecting all the spider cards. I like collecting all the blue cards. I like collecting every card from a certain set, which we do have a master set section up on the channel. You can always go ahead and check out our master sets that we've gone over, how to collect master sets of entire sets and blocks of Magic the Gathering over the years. This is collecting without the sole purpose of having a monetary gain in the future. Is it going to cost you money to collect these things? Absolutely. Of course it is. It is going to cost you money to get them. Unless you're just given a golden goose, you know what I mean? But overall, collecting is just that. You are collecting. When a 15-year-old decides to go grab a whole bunch of cards because they really like the zombies in this set and that you want to collect all the zombies, you're not going to tell that kid, oh, hey, kid, you might not want to collect those zombies because they're only like 15 cents and they've been reprinted 8,000 times, so you're not going to get any value on that. That's not what you do. And it's not what you do for a grown adult either, because guess what? People collect what they want to collect, and that's the whole purpose. Investing is different. Investing is what everybody is assuming people mean by collecting. They're assuming that when people say that they are collecting, that they're collecting very rare pieces of Magic's history or very rare cards to then be able to flip in the future for a higher profit, right? Because as we've seen, a lot of the stuff that gets printed in Magic ends up going up in price over time due to either it not being reprinted for a long while or it just being a really powerful card and there not being enough of them on the market. You also have things like buyouts that exist where people can just buy out thousands of copies of these cards. And these buyouts will cause a spike in price because now they're not as easy to find as they were previously. Investing is a completely different ballgame compared to collecting. Collecting, you should not worry about the monetary sense of your collection at the end of the day. If you're investing, you need to invest in the things that only show good legs and product that is true to the essential investment strategy that would be in Magic the Gathering, right? And also, don't buy stuff to invest in for Magic the Gathering if you don't have your life together already. You know what I mean? Like, this is a side hobby gig hustle thing of coming in and trying to essentially make a bunch of money 10 years down the line on Magic. A lot of people are talking about how sealed investing is no longer a thing in Magic right now. That's not true. It is still a thing. You just need to buy the old boxes, okay? Don't buy any of the new boxes. Just buy the old boxes. There's still plenty of vintage old product to purchase on the market. Go buy those products. Go buy old boxes. Go buy boxes of new Phyrexia. Go buy boxes of Mirrodin. Buy boxes of Tempest and your Stronghold and Lorwyn. Like, go buy boxes from them. Are they expensive? Absolutely, but that's because there's not a lot of them. Sealed investing does not just have to be with the new stuff, and at some point in our lives, we will see a spike in price on sealed investing for the new stuff as well, because it is actually just print to demand, and we're not sure on the numbers ever, so we just kind of have to roll with the punches. But I think the biggest takeaway is this reprint equity that everybody's talking about, right? Reprint equity is a huge, this is a very, very probably based take on what I think about reprint equity, right? You have so many people who complain that cards are too expensive and that they should be reprinted. And then the second they are reprinted and are still expensive, they go, needs another reprint. And then they reprint them again later on, and now they're cheaper, and now all these people who had collected these cards in the past, or collected these cards in the past, they are now looking at this product and going, well, I speculated on it, which is an investment strategy. I speculated on it back in 2008, and now it is dropped 40% since I purchased it. So, I'm gonna have to sell this at a loss because Wizards is screwing up Magic, and the entire world is over, and I can't collect Magic anymore because my cards aren't going to be worth anything. There is still worth in Magic. Of course there is, right? You just have to stop thinking about the money, okay? You have to stop thinking about the money. If you as an individual are focused on this being your 401k, right? This being the thing to get you into retirement, this being the thing to get your kids or your grandkids into college, you need to rethink your life, okay? Because I promise you, you are never, ever going to have a super successful time with that unless you make a business out of cardboard. And most people don't. Most people just buy sealed product or they speculate on singles and they'll sit and they'll hold them until something happens on the market. And then the second something changes, right? The second that reprint equity gets kicked in, look at Imperial Seal, right? Imperial Seal was super expensive because it was only found in Portal 3 Kingdoms, because that was like a short printed set. Not many people even got them in English. It was really, really, really hard to find in Imperial Seal. But we all are well known that Vampiric Tutor is just better than Imperial Seal. So when Imperial Seal got reprinted, did Imperial Seal still go down in price in the original? Well, yeah, it did. But it didn't go down for, I think, the reason most people think it did. It's not so much because the reprint happened. It's because the people who had those original cards, the cards that will matter to collectors, the original cards went down in price because people panicked. They panicked. They saw that Imperial Seal was being printed in 3 different variants, and they went, well, we got to get rid of this thing. This is a toxic asset. I need this out of my portfolio. Get it out of here. I don't care what I got to sell it at. This thing is going to tank to like $40, and I'm not going to be able to make anywhere near over $1,000 on this product. People panic. And when people panic, you know who gets full advantage of that? The people who are not panicking. The people who get to pick it up at such a low price. And then eventually when this gets talked about in media, or something brings it up to the point where you're never going to be able to see the original Portal 3 Kingdoms cards ever again, then it's going to be this big to-do, and everybody's going to, oh my god, like I really wish I had one of those things, but they're like $4,000 again. It's all based on fear. Fear controls the market. And when fear controls the market, everybody has to fend for themselves. You need to know what you're comfortable doing. But this isn't an investment video. I'm not a financial advisor, right? I'm just letting you know from what I'm seeing from these standpoints. People who collect Magic the Gathering, at least some people, I don't know how many people actually do this, but people who collect Magic the Gathering care more about the value of their collection than they do the reason they started collecting in the first place. And that is why there's a big disconnect between collecting and investing. Can you collect limited product? Of course you can, right? Limited product is probably one of the best things you could invest into, as far as things like, the Here Dragon Secret Lairs at 10,000 ever made, the 30th anniversary countdown calendar for Secret Lair, that was another limited price product. Hell, even Magic 30th anniversary. Although I don't like that product, but it is a limited product, and that is an investor thing, right? That is not for the regular people to celebrate. That is an investor thing, and whether or not they even should invest into it is completely up to them, because it is a product that genuinely nobody liked. But of course, when something gets a really, really bad rap, people tend to take a look at it a few years down the line, maybe even a decade down the line, and choose to want that thing that everybody hated back then, right? A piece of Magic's history, another dip in the pool of this disgusting, like, corporate greed concept. The only people who I see who are personally super greedy, and which I do not say that WotC is not. I do believe there are things wrong with WotC, such as their, the amount of product they're coming out with is way too much, very fast, right? And does not give people a lot of time to connect with the sets. I think that is a problem. Aside from that, though, they are running their business, okay? They're running their business. And you as a collector should just keep collecting what you want to collect, right? But people who are investors, those are the real greedy individuals. Investors are the same people who will purchase several units of a limited product, only for the sole purpose of flipping it for 2 times or more so they can make a profit later on when they invest, right? The point of an investor is to make money later on down the line, right? Speculate on cards that seem to be going for not a lot, but you have a big knowledge of the modern scene for Magic the Gathering, so this one card is going to do real well in modern, and because of that, you can now, like, you can just predict the future and know that this 50-cent card is going to go up to, $22. So if you buy 100 of them, right, that's a pretty good stock option. But when I talk about me collecting, right, I am not collecting for the sole purpose to eventually sell that collection. If you are collecting and you happen to have to sell your collection, right, it is an unfortunate situation. Most people who have to sell their collections do not do it willingly. It's something came up, right? Maybe they don't have enough money in their savings account to, pay for a medical bill or pay for a car note or some kind of issue that has happened with their family. Like, if they don't have that and they need to sell assets, they have liquid assets to sell. Now, any collector worth their salt will never want to sell their stuff. It's like hoarding almost in a way, but a little bit more organized. Collections should never be sold. Personally, I believe collections should never be sold unless you have come into a very unfortunate situation in which you need to sell it. Investing, on the other hand, if you are investing in product, you invest in things that you know will be able to sell for more in the future, right? I'm talking limited product, premium product, short printed boxes like the 2020 stuff, like Throne of Eldraine, Ikoria, Theros Beyond Death, Core 2021. These are short printed products due to a global event, and because of that, they are good investments, right? The cards in them are very good, and the sheer volume of boxes that will be on the market from this point until the end of Magic's life are going to be very small, or at least smaller than everything else that's being printed to demand right now. Or at least smaller than everything else that's being printed to demand right now. So that is my that is my differentiating opinions on both things. When I collect because I love the thing that I'm collecting, right? It's not sometimes they even end up tying in together and being a really great investment as a collectible, right? For instance, you look at something like Arabian Nights, right? If I don't have any cards from Arabian Nights, just for the record, but if you really like the set of Arabian Nights, really like it, and you wanted to start collecting it, which is going to be very expensive because a lot of it is hard to find on the market right now. Even the commons and the uncommons are getting up there in price. If you wanted to collect that, you're probably collecting it because you really like the flavor of the set, and you also like holding a piece of Magic's history because it may have been something that either you are connected with because you were playing back when Arabian Nights came out. Maybe you just really like the art of the set, right? Maybe you just like the concept of it, if it reminds you of like Aladdin or something, like one of your favorite Disney movies, or like your daughter's or son's favorite Disney movie, like you can do that. That is a reason to collect, right? And in that same sense, it is also a very great investment because that is a piece of Magic history that contains reserve list cards and contains a lot of cards that aren't even on the reserve list that are printed in their original form. So in certain situations, whatever you might be collecting may end up actually being an investable product. And at that point, you can choose whether or not you want to collect more of that or less of it, or whether or not you want to switch things up. But collecting what you want to collect does not have to mean anything as far as a monetary value in the future. When I collect the Dark, or I collect any other attempt at a master set, I don't collect it so I can go, man, well, I can't wait. I'm gonna wait 5 to 10 years, and then right when I want to go on vacation, I'm gonna sell the entirety of my Innistrad Crimson Vow master set, and I'm gonna be able to get a couple $1,000s from it, and then we'll be able to go on vacation. These aren't like lottery tickets that you turn in if you're a collector. If you're an investor, you're not gonna ever do a master set collection, probably. If you're an investor, you're using these cards as a way to make money. Collectors are not like that. So when I hear people talk about a collectible card game, like Magic the Gathering, a CCG, I think it is not so much people that are trying to figure out whether or not Magic is collectible. I feel like a lot of people don't know what collectible means. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I may be alone in this whole case, but I really wanted to get this off my chest because it's so sad to see so many people just shout into the void. And I know that we content creators, the people here on the YouTube space, myself, we may have a small little voice in this matter. And you commenting right now may have a small voice in the matter. But you need to find what makes Magic, special to you. And if you don't find anything special about Magic, then don't play Magic. I just don't. Don't play Magic. If you've no longer felt the love for Magic anymore, don't play it. But don't ruin it for other people, okay? Other people do still like Magic. A majority of people, apparently, according to Wizards numbers, still love Magic. And because of that, they will still continue to get things for their collections or investables to do stuff with, if need be. Players will continue to get game pieces. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the collecting versus investing, right? Let me know what your side of the coin is. Do you collect or do you invest? Do you kind of do a little bit of both? Let me know. And while you're down there, make sure to like the video and then subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. And you can also find a Patreon link in the description down below. We do have that for people as well as a channel membership here for the channel. But if you don't want to support the channel in a monetary sense, I totally understand. It is not necessary. So thank you all so much for being here. Again, I do truly appreciate your support. And I will see you all very soon. Nerd out.